But I mean, let's come back to Street Academics, the music and stuff like that, bro. Like, first of all, like, props to you guys. I say this to everyone who's been a part of Street Academics that I've spoken to. But last I spoke to was Earthcrime, the last episode that I had, and when I was speaking to him, also, there's just a lot of respect that's there because you guys started doing this when there was no one in the scene, and a question that is probably going to be repeated even when I speak to Harris or when I speak to RJV. ഇവരോട് നിങ്ങളോട് എല്ലാവരും സംസാരിക്കുമ്പോൾ the one thing I always have in my mind is when you started, like when you don't get a lot of social validation and you don't have a lot of people listening to your music, what is it that kept you going and what was the hope that you had in your mind for hip hop?
Okay, I think this is a pretty long story and there's no way at all that I can sum it up or give it to you in a nutshell. It has to be a long story. And that's
yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
I guess my journey started when I met Harris. We were in fact from the same school.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to the same school. And before that, I was rapping, but then I'd never written anything original. I was rapping over people's verses, and I still remember I used to have these 3-deck CDs. I don't know if you remember those things.
Yeah.
3-deck, it would just spin around.
Yeah.
So I'd put these 3 CDs in there, all 3 of Eminem's albums, and I'd just go full ballistics on it, and I'll just go through the entire album, all 3 albums, and I'd know every word of it. So that's the person I was before I met Harris. I just knew about rap. I didn't know about the technicalities. I didn't know if I could do it and all of that. But then when I met Harris, I told him that, and the story, I've told this in interviews before as well, but it's nice. It's always nice talking,
right.
Revisiting those moments. So these guys, I was in 11th and then Harris a plus 2 late. So ഇവനപ്പം നമ്മുടെ ഈ റാഗിങ് ഉണ്ടാവുമല്ലോ, അപ്പൊ ഇവന്റെ ബാച്ചിലുള്ള ആൾക്കാര് എല്ലാം കൂടെ കൂടിയിട്ട് ഇങ്ങനെ റാഗ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി വന്നതായിരുന്നു. അപ്പൊ നമ്മള് റാഗ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോ പാട്ട് പാടാൻ പറയല്ലോ. എനിക്ക് പാട്ട് പാടാൻ അറിയില്ലായിരുന്നു. ഞാൻ എമിനെമിന്റെ ഒരു വേഴ്സ് റാപ്പ് ചെയ്തു. ഐ തിങ്ക് റെയിൻമാൻ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞൊരു പഴയ ട്രാക്ക് ഉണ്ട്. സോ അതാണ് ഞാൻ അവിടെ അന്ന് പറഞ്ഞത്. അപ്പം എന്നെ ക്രൗഡിന്റെ ഉള്ളിൽ ആ റാഗ് ചെയ്യുന്ന കൂട്ടത്തിൽ ഒരാളാണ് ഹാരിസ്. So I didn't pay. I didn't know that he was a rapper back then. And then pitte dosam, I think we met and we spoke about hip hop and I told him who my favorite artists are, and he spoke to me about a bunch of dudes that I hadn't even heard of. But I realized later that these guys are absolute legends. Yeah, and chances are most of the people that rap today wouldn't have even heard of their name. Yeah. But back then they were huge. Not just back then, they're still legends. They're always going to be legends. But I hadn't heard of them, and I was like, why don't I know about these people? I started listening to their songs. So it was a process meeting him, and then I started listening to these people. If I had to name a few artists that I was influenced by initially, it's Immortal Technique, one, Jedi Mind Tricks, R.A. the Rugged Man, Rakim, a lot of Rakim, Rakim, a lot of Rakim. Nas is again somebody who had influenced me a lot initially. And then Tribe Called Quest, Mos Def. Now I hadn't heard even a single name of all the names that I mentioned right now. I hadn't heard even a single artist. So once I started listening, I was like, man, I want to do it. That's when he started sharing his tracks with me. I didn't know that he rapped, right? I mean, I knew that he rapped, but I didn't know that, he's the first person to have spit Malayalam bars. Or the first time I heard Reppin' the Truth, I was like, wow, man, some people rhyme like this in Malayalam.
Yeah.
And for a 16-year-old kid, that was, awe-inspiring. I mean,
right.
It was nothing short of magical for me. Hearing it and knowing that, that it can be done in Malayalam as well. Nobody's even thought about it.
Yeah.
We could be the first ones. And that's when I started talking to him. And my initial lyrics, to be honest with you, were full of braggadocious, gun bars and Lamborghinis and stuff that I could never, maybe I'll have it one day, but
Yeah, let's hope
stuff
so.
that I
Yeah.
could not, that wasn't me,
Yeah.
whatever I was writing about.
Mm.
So I sort of got together with Harris and then I met Rajivan as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Rajivan's also a very complicated guy.
Yeah.
Complicated would be an understatement. I don't know. Not that he's a bad guy. Okay, he's
Totally
one of
understandable.
the
Yeah.
sweetest people that I know, but he's complicated. His convictions are so real that his personal life and artistic life. It's sort of I don't know how to explain it.
Okay.
Go pick up for yourself.
Yeah.
Once you speak to him, you'll know.
Yeah.
So I met him, and he is an intellectual. I mean, so we have these people that study about art, right? So he knows the history of hip hop like the back of his hand. So he'd sit and explain to me that this is how it started, this is rhythm, this is flow. So he's sort of like what do you call it? He's the KRS-One of, if you've heard of KRS-One,
No, I haven't.
he's one of the pioneers of old school hip hop.
Okay.
And what makes him, and he has a PhD in hip hop. So
Oh, really?
that's kind of guy.
I didn't know you could take a PhD in hip hop.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can.
Okay.
His paper was on linguistics and how, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe you can look it up. But he teaches, he goes to colleges and teaches. Rajivan's that's that kind of a guy. He doesn't really give two fucks about what you think or, by the way, can I swear?
You totally can. Yeah.
Yeah, so he doesn't give two fucks about what you think and all of that. So he gave me a lot of perspective. So I collected all of these inputs that I got from Harris, and then I think I started writing in early 2009, and my first song came out in 2010, I believe, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
2010.
I think your first verse was Getting Higher or something like that, right?
Yeah. So that was the first release track.
Okay.
Back then, it was, to record a song was, it was a very
It was a big
tedious
deal. Yeah.
process. Yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
So we go to Harris's house and we had this makeshift pop filter. I still remember it.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody else has spoken to you about it. It's very
Yeah.
stockings
Yeah. Right.
and these crochet embroidery thing, the ring that you get. So we made these pop filters with it, and we had a mic that Harris bought for $250, but that died in 2-3 days. But then we got another mic.
Okay.
So it was tedious, and then it all started with Getting Higher. And initially, when we started putting out tracks, I was young, right? I thought, I was a fool, and I thought, these songs are going to be a big hit. When you're young, you have
Yeah. Totally.
So I thought these songs would be a big hit, and I was heartbroken that nobody was listening to it.